The great chamber of the Galactic Council was silent when the meeting began. A silence so strong that even the air seemed to hold its breath. Hundreds of lights floated above the long table, projecting the faces of council members from every corner of the galaxy. Today, they were deciding Earth's future. And they had already made up their minds. In the center of the room stood Ambassador Daniel Hale, the human representative. He came with trust in his heart and hope in his voice. For years, Earth had worked with the Council, helped them in wars, shared their technology, saved entire planets from disaster. Humanity believed the alliance was built on respect. But Daniel did not know that all of them had already met last night. They had already voted. They had already chosen Betrayal. The chairperson, a tall alien with cold blue eyes, spoke first. "Ambassador Hale," she said, "the Council must inform you. Earth is no longer welcome in the Alliance." Daniel blinked slowly, trying to understand her words. "I do not understand," he said. "Earth has done everything you asked. We stood by you in every conflict. We protected your worlds." The chairperson looked away. "Your species grows too fast, too strong, too loyal to itself. You are becoming a danger." Daniel felt something inside him break. "So you plan to remove us because we became strong? Because we refused to be controlled?" Another council member, with sharp metallic skin, leaned forward. "Humanity must be limited. If we do not take action now, you will take over the Alliance in a few years." Daniel laughed once soft, painful. "We never wanted power. We only wanted peace." But they did not listen. Behind him, armed guards entered the chamber. Their heavy boots echoed across the polished floor. Daniel turned slowly and saw their weapons pointed at him. "This meeting is not a debate," the chairperson said. "It is an announcement. Earth is expelled from the Alliance and placed under sanction." Daniel felt his chest tighten. The betrayal was worse than he expected. Sanctions. He asked, "What kind of sanctions?" The answer came like a knife. "Your ships will be restricted. Your communication lines will be cut. Your colonies will lose protection. And your forces will be watched." Daniel stood completely still. He had always believed the Council would at least be fair. He had always believed that friendship meant something. He was wrong. He slowly reached for his communicator. But one of the guards stepped forward and smashed it to the ground with his boot. "There will be no communication with Earth from inside this chamber," the guard said. Daniel felt heat rise in his face. "You cannot silence us. Earth has the right to know." But the council members remained cold. They had already chosen their side. The chairperson lifted her hand. "Escort the ambassador to the docks. He will be sent back to Earth under surveillance." Daniel was grabbed by two guards. They dragged him out of the chamber while he struggled to keep his balance. As the doors closed behind him, he heard the council speaking calmly about future plans that no longer included humanity. In the long hallway, bright lights flickered above him. The guards pushed him forward, and Daniel felt a heavy weight in his chest. He had trusted these people. Earth had trusted them, and this was the result: betrayal, fear, and silence. When they reached the docking platform, Daniel saw something that made his heart freeze. His ship, the vessel that brought him across the galaxy, was already burning. Flames rose from the engine, spreading across the hull. The ship was destroyed on purpose. Daniel stared in disbelief. "This is not sanctioned," he whispered. "This is a threat." One guard smirked. "It is a message. Tell Earth to stay quiet, or more ships will burn." Daniel stepped back. The fire glowed in his eyes. He knew then that the betrayal was not political. It was war. Suddenly, he heard a soft beep from inside his jacket. A small emergency device then, hidden, meant only for dire moments. The guards did not notice it. He pressed it. A tiny light flashed green. A secure signal was sent directly to Earth. Then he whispered into the device, keeping his voice low. "They betrayed us. They destroyed my ship. They plan to isolate us. Prepare the fleets." A second later, one of the guards turned around. "What did you say?" Daniel quickly crushed the device under his heel. "Nothing. he said calmly. "Let us go." The guard shoved him toward a transport ship. He sat inside, surrounded by armed soldiers. While the door slid shut with a heavy clang, the engines hummed, the ship lifted, and Daniel watched through the small window as the flames of his destroyed vessel reflected in his eyes. He felt sadness, but not fear. He knew Earth was listening. He knew Earth would understand the message hidden between his words. Far away, on the blue planet, alarms were already beginning to ring. Commanders were waking. Strategy tables were lighting up. Officers were running down long metal corridors, shouting orders. Earth did not know the full truth yet, but they knew one thing. Their ambassador was in danger. Someone had attacked him, and betrayal was now clear. Daniel sat quietly, his hands tied, his heart burning with anger and determination. He looked out at the stars and whispered softly, "Humanity does not break. Humanity answers." The transport ship continued through the darkness, carrying him away from the council and closer to the storm that was coming. The galaxy had made a mistake. Earth was not weak, and humanity never forgot betrayal. Asterisk. Earth received Daniel Hale's hidden message only 30 seconds after he sent it. The signal was weak, cracked, and heavily damaged by council interference. But one line came through clearly: "Prepare the fleets." In the center of Earth Command. Deep under the Pacific Ocean, the message flashed bright red on every screen. Generals lifted their heads. Officers stopped talking. Strategists pressed their hands against the cold glass of the main display. No one in the room needed an explanation. No one needed more words. If Daniel Hale, one of the calmest diplomats in Earth's history, said that, then the threat was real. Within minutes, alarms roared through every major military base on the planet. Red lights spun across steel corridors. Loudspeakers repeated the same message again and again. Code Black. All units prepare for full mobilization. The world changed in seconds. In the Northern Hemisphere, massive hangar doors opened like metal jaws, revealing the sleeping giants of the Fleet Earth's dreadnoughts, cruisers, and destroyers. Some had not flown in decades. Some were new and untested, but all of them powered up together, as if they were waking from the same long dream. Hundreds of ships rose from the ground, dust swirling beneath them. Engines hummed with deep blue light. Pilots rushed across launch decks, helmets under their arms. Hearts pounding with fear and determination. Earth had been peaceful for many years, but it never forgot the dark past. Humanity had learned the hard way that peace required strength, and now that strength was needed again. Across the solar system, the reaction spread like a wave. On the moon, mining stations shut down and transformed into weapon platforms. On Mars, old military factories restarted after 50 silent years. On Europa, scientists stopped their research and began uploading targeting data. Every human colony responded with one voice: Earth is in danger. We stand together. In the main war room, Admiral Sarah Vaughn, commander of Earth's Armada, stood before a massive hologram showing the galaxy. She was calm, even though her eyes carried a fire that had been waiting to burn. Her second in command, Captain Reyes, approached her. "Admiral, we received fragments of the ambassador's situation. His ship was destroyed. He is alive, but captured." Admiral Vaughn closed her eyes for a moment. She had known Daniel Hale for 20 years. He was more than a diplomat. He had saved 3 species during peace missions. He had brought unity where others brought fear. He did not deserve this. She opened her eyes. "What about the Council fleet movement?" Captain Reyes swallowed hard. "They began deploying ships near our outer colonies. They think we will stay quiet." "Then they do not know humanity," Vaughn said. Her voice carried across the room. Officers straightened their backs. Soldiers took positions. Every person in the chamber felt the same cold anger. Admiral Vaughn lifted her hand and gave the command that changed the future of the galaxy. "Launch the Armada." The sky above Earth turned silver as thousands of ships rose together. The fleet stretched across the horizon like a storm made of steel. Civilians watched from rooftops, from windows, from crowded streets. They whispered prayers. They held each other close. They filmed the Armada with shaking hands. Humanity had never sent so many ships into space at one time. Children stared in wonder. Old veterans stared in silence. Mothers stared with tears in their eyes. This was not just war. This was a message. Earth would not kneel. Earth would not break. Earth would answer betrayal with unity. As the first wave left the atmosphere, ship after ship locked into formation. Dreadnoughts formed the center. Heavy destroyers circled them in layered rings. Smaller fighter wings hovered like silver birds, ready to strike in any direction. In space, the fleet glowed like a rising sun. Inside the flagship EHS Vengeance, Admiral Vaughn walked the main deck. Every officer stood at attention as she passed. Her footsteps echoed across the steel floor. She stopped near the front window, a massive wall of glass showing the darkness of space. "Status?" she asked. "Jump engines at full power," an officer replied. "All ships are ready. Fleet formation is stable. Council scanners will detect us the moment we jump," Captain Reyes said. "Good," Vaughn replied. "Let them feel fear for once."
Ow.
The room shifted as the ship prepared for a long-distance jump. The engines hummed. Lights dimmed. Vaughn looked out into space and whispered, "Hold on, Daniel. We are coming." Then she gave the order, "Jump." A burst of white light swallowed the entire fleet. Space folded around them, pulling the Armada into the darkness like a tidal wave of metal and fire. When the Armada arrived near the Council's outer border, enemy ships were already waiting. Hundreds of alien cruisers formed a blockade, confident and ready. They expected Earth to retreat. They expected negotiation. They expected weakness, but they did not expect what came next. Earth's Armada spread out fast, faster than any alien species had seen. Fighters broke off. Destroyers locked weapons. Dreadnoughts prepared their main cannons. A council commander appeared on the communication screen. "This is illegal," he shouted. "Earth is not allowed to cross this border." Admiral Vaughn stepped forward. Her face was calm, cold, and unshaken. "You destroyed our ambassador's ship," she said. "You cut our colonies. You tried to silence us. This is a misunderstanding," the commander said nervously. "No," Vaughn replied. "This is betrayal." She lifted her hand. "Fire." Earth's Armada opened with a thunderstorm of bright blue energy. The blockade shattered in minutes. Enemy ships broke formation, turning in panic. Engines burning. The Council had thought humanity would beg. Instead, they met a storm. The part ends here with Earth's Armada moving deeper into enemy space. Hunting for the truth, for justice, and for Ambassador Daniel Hale, Earth's Armada pushed deeper into Council space. Leaving behind a trail of broken blockades and failed ambushes, the enemy fleets tried again and again to stop the humans. But every attempt ended the same way. Earth's ships moved like one living creature, coordinated, disciplined, and unstoppable. On the flagship EHS Vengeance, Admiral Sarah Vaughn stood in front of the main window. Watching the wreckage of the latest battle slowly drift away, her face was calm, but inside her heart was heavy. She knew the worst part of the war had not even begun. Captain Reyes approached her. "Admiral, we tracked Ambassador Hale's signal. He is being held on the Council's capital station." Vaughn stared at the hologram of the enemy capital, a giant station the size of a moon. Protected by rings of weapons, shields, thousands of defense ships. "They think we will stop here," she whispered. Reyes nodded. "They think humanity's scared easily. They think betrayal would break us." Vaughn turned slowly, her eyes sharp like steel. "Then we must show them the truth." She raised her hand. "Prepare the final assault." Far away, Ambassador Daniel Hale was locked inside a small metal cell on the Council station. His hands were bruised from the restraints. His throat was dry, but his eyes burned with the same fire he always carried. A guard glanced at him through the door window. "Human, your world will fall. The Council will take control of your colonies soon. Daniel smiled weakly. You destroyed my ship. You cut my communication. You called that peace? The guard grinned. We called it order. Daniel leaned forward and whispered, You do not know humanity at all. The guard frowned. What does that mean? At that exact moment, the station shook from a distant explosion. Lights flickered. Alarms blared. The entire hallway trembled like a wounded beast. Daniel closed his eyes and breathed in slowly. They are here, outside the station. The full power of Earth's Armada arrived. Dreadnoughts fired blue plasma that ripped through enemy shields. Destroyers danced between enemy cruisers, hitting weak points with perfect accuracy. Fighter wings moved like silver lightning, twisting, turning, striking, protecting the larger ships. The Council had never seen humans fight with such unity. One alien admiral panicked as Earth's fleet grew closer. They fight like they are a single mind. How is this possible? Another officer screamed, Retreat! Retreat! We cannot stop them. But there was no escape. Humanity was already inside the heart of enemy space. On the EHS Vengeance, Admiral Vaughn stood tall. Open a direct channel to the station. Within seconds, the faces of council leaders appeared on the screen, shaking, sweating, terrified. One of them spoke quickly. Admiral Vaughn, this is a misunderstanding. A political disagreement. There is no need for violence. You destroyed our representative ship, Vaughn replied calmly. You tried to silence Earth. You imprisoned him. A different council member shouted, He broke our laws. He tried to warn Earth, Vaughn said. That is not a crime. Before the council could answer, the ship trembled from enemy fire. But Earth's shields held strong. Vaughn leaned closer to the screen. Bring him out now. The council leader swallowed hard. Or else. Vaughn pointed out the window toward the Armada behind her, thousands of glowing engines, thousands of ready cannons, thousands of soldiers united under one purpose, or else your station will become dust. The council went silent. They had expected fear. They had expected hesitation. But humanity brought only resolve. Inside the station, Daniel Hale heard rushing footsteps. The cell door opened, and guards pulled him out. Move, one guard barked. Your people are demanding you. Daniel stumbled, but kept his head high. As they dragged him through the hall, he passed windows showing pieces of the Battle Earth ships surrounding the station like wolves around their prey. Fire lit the skies outside. For the first time, Daniel felt hope. When he entered the central chamber, he saw the council members sitting nervously at their table. The screen in front of them showed Admiral Vaughn waiting. Daniel stepped forward. Sarah, he whispered. Sarah Vaughn's voice softened for a moment. Daniel, we are taking you home. The council leader stood up quickly. Admiral, we surrender. The station is yours. Vaughn shook her head. Not just the station. The Alliance. Your authority ends today, Council gasped. You betrayed Earth, Vaughn said. You tried to control humanity with fear. You failed. What will you do with us? The chairperson asked, trembling. Vaughn's answer was quiet but powerful. You will step down. All of you. The Alliance needs new leaders, ones who understand peace, not fear. The council members looked at one another, realizing they had lost the galaxy in one mistake. Earth troops boarded the station moments later. Daniel Hale was escorted safely into a transport. He looked back at the council chamber one last time, not with anger, but with sadness. This could have been avoided, he whispered. We trusted you. The doors closed, and the transport carried him away. As Earth's Armada left the capital, civilians from dozens of planets cheered. Many species, long controlled by the Council, looked up at the human fleet with gratitude. They saw protectors, not conquerors. Humanity had not come to destroy the galaxy. Humanity came to free it, on the EHS Vengeance. Admiral Vaughn watched the stars passing by and said softly, Humans do not start wars, but they finish them. Daniel Hale stepped beside her. We won more than a battle, he said. We won respect. And in that quiet moment, the galaxy understood a truth that would echo for generations. when humanity stands together. No betrayal can break them. And when Earth unleashes its armada, the stars themselves tremble.